Welcome
to the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 445 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Going to be live hacking on some Firefox stuff. It's going to be great. I was at a work week last week. Been plenty of those. I think I'm near the back half of that. There's maybe one more coming up in September. I've got a little bit of vacation coming up at the end of the month. At the end of the month, and sorry, I'm gonna share my screen. I got some vacation coming up at the end of the month, so another week off, and then another work week in September, and that should be the last one of the year, as far as I know. Maybe one more. It's possible, though there might be one in October or November. But hopefully we'll get a little more stable, because I've been skipping a lot of, or missing a lot of the, the episodes, you know? Last week, no exception. But I'm back. So where were we? Let's get right into it. Well, first of all, before we begin, hey, the way I start this off, I generally like to say, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today. I think I know how I want to proceed, but it might not go according to plan. It might go sideways. I might drink a mixture of tea and carbonated lemon water and spill it on myself. Hey, that's all part of it. That's the first thing. The second thing is the agenda that we're looking at. So if you're watching this on Twitch, check out the check out the channel details down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the details section over there. And I realized I never checked the chat, the bridge, so I'm gonna do a quick bridge test. Anybody out there, just go ahead, respond. You don't need to like fill the chat with stuff, but I'm curious to know if the bridge is working. So feel free to just ping back if you're watching this on Twitch. No, says Smurf D. Okay, well, it's doing pretty well for something completely busted. So thank you very much for that. Let's get right into it. So center cropping. We actually we were working on center cropping for Moz Label, and that was ultimately for the downloads panel that we're trying to move a variant of its UI into the sidebar. We've been working on this for a while, and I posted my patch, and then almost immediately after the stream ended, Amelia goes, "Yeah, that's pretty gross. Let's use this mechanism instead," because I've been using, if we look at the patch here, using this kind of awkward, well, was it awkward? I guess, like a Chrome only attribute to say the center crop is enabled on the label element, and that ends up being like more trouble than it's worth, is I believe the conclusion. So instead of doing it that way, we will instead check to see whether or not this value is true. Chrome rules enabled. This is how we'll check to see whether or not we're allowed, not using the web IDL. So we can get rid of that, and then we can expose, I guess. Sorry, what's he saying here? Let me just reread this again. Why not check that Chrome rules enabled? That seems a lot easier as the privilege guard. So let's see other usage of this. Chrome rules enabled. Is Chrome, is main thread, is Chrome, doc Chrome rules enabled. Block frame loader, look and feel. Was the implementation of Chrome rules enabled? It's just a member, and that gets set true if the current documents UI scheme enables privileged CSS rules, and that gets set here and here and here by looking at the URI of the document. I see. So if it's a Chrome URI, then Chrome rules are enabled. That seems to make sense. Let's just double check here. Yeah, if it's a Chrome resource or about URI, then Chrome rules are enabled. Okay. Cool. So that means that instead of using WebIDL and failing out, we can instead, we want to notice if instead of using this, here's what I'm thinking. Instead of using the center crop enabled member, which we're doing here, that's the only place we're using it. We're going to replace this with whether or not the element, oh boy, yeah, whether or not the document that we're in has Chrome rules enabled. And if so, and if the item is, in this case, we're setting crop and value, then we'll do this. Now the other part is in the frame constructor where we were checking center crop enabled. And here instead, we'll maybe ask center crop enabled will be true. Attribute changed hint. Crop center. Center crop enabled. If attribute value is center. So if this is true, and we have Chrome rules enabled, so here we'll see if we are a label, and we are not Chrome rules enabled, we'll bail out, and then otherwise we'll just follow the rules. Okay, I think I see it. Let's do that. I think that's pretty straightforward. I think I see it. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove our WebIDL interface here. Don't need this. And then we're gonna remove our getter and setter here and our member. We don't need that anymore either. Center crop enabled false. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of these. And then we are going to keep this, but instead of checking center crop enabled, we will check to see if Chrome rules are enabled on the owner doc. So we need to see, do we do anything in here with the doc? Element, document. How do we get our document? Owner doc. So center crop. So in here, attribute change hint. If owner doc, here let's see some usage of owner doc under DOM HTML. It always seems like everyone's assuming that owner doc exists. So I think what we'll do is we'll say owner doc, Chrome rules enabled. HTML label. can use center cropping only in Chrome documents. I hate this auto formatting. Actually, let's just keep that. And then the other one is in the frame constructor. Center crop enabled. So here we'll say if label and, do we say anything about owner doc? Element owner doc, okay. So if label and label owner doc, oh, it's not. Chrome rules enabled, return null. And I think that's it. And then we need to update Moz label. Chrome, or was it center crop enabled? Will just be a member on here. Center crop enabled equals false. If this center crop enabled, if not, if center crop enabled, remove attribute, center crop enabled. I think that'll do it. Let's take a quick peek. We'll build that. Yeah, it's all good, Denny Sean. Smurf D was just kidding around, and I appreciate that about Smurf D. Me too, says Denny Sean. All right. So what we're gonna do, if that works, I would expect this test to still pass. I don't think there's anything in here. Oh. We're going to want to change the test, actually. We'll want to get rid of that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and update test Moz label. We don't need that anymore. Okay, because we already have enable center crop here. And okay, so let's build one more time. It built. I'm just gonna build because I made it. You know what? Thinking about it, I probably didn't need to rebuild. I only changed the test, but I'm being overly cautious, and then we're gonna run the test. We're gonna see what happens. And if that works, let's post it up for review. Test, was it Moz label.html? Well, we're going to test it with the automated test. Then let's manually test it. Make sure it's working as expected. And then we'll go ahead and post it. And then we can start basing some other stuff on top of it. I feel like we're getting closer to... Oh, you know what? I wonder if we also need to update the documentation for Moz label. Moz label, does it have documentation? Did that pass? First of all, did it pass? It did. So Storybook components, Moz label does have a README. some click handling logic. I think we're going to want to update the documentation of Moz label as well. It's an extension of the built-in label element that provides access key styling, formatting, some click handling, and Zool and center cropping similar to the Zool implementation. Borrowing from Zool implementation of label. And then there's like an HTML story, label story, label readme. What do I want this to say? Moz label, access key. I don't care about access key. I will say enable center cropping. Enable center crop. Style equals max width 150 pixels. And then this is a long label with center cropping and a maximum width set upon it. What's a good example of documentation like this? Readme.stories.md. Let's see, under button, what do they do? Code, setting icon. I'm just going to add center cropping. Center cropping is center cropping. How would we describe this? Center cropping is disabled by default, but when enabled, adjusts the display of a label that has exceeded its maximum width by truncating the center of the string with an ellipsis character. This is the implementation is shared with the Zool label equivalent. And has the same limitations, mainly that this is best used for simple Latin scripts and can break horribly or work unexpectedly with more complex scripts or Latin character sets. This is best. This capability is best used when displaying things like file names, where it's important to be able to see both the beginning of the file name as well as the file name extension at the end. Enabling center cropping is done by setting enable center crop on the label. Labels with multiple child nodes are not supported. Child elements non-text child elements are not supported. When this occurs, Moz label will automatically take any text within the element and set it as its value attribute and replace the text content of the element with the center crop version. Reads of text content will automatically reads of text content will read the uncropped value, and writes to text content will cause the cropped value to update, the center cropped value to update. We should make sure that this works with Fluent. Is there test where are we? We are under tests widgets. Moz breadcrumb. And create a mock Fluent file. Okay, let's do that. Let's create a mock Fluent file. Add setup. Source. Example label. Now when people set labels, what do? Oh, they go is equals Moz label, and then they use something like, they just set the internal contents. Okay, so example label. This is a very long label, text content. This is a very, 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 very long string to put inside of a label from Fluent. We'll do that, and then do that as well. Moz label, center crop, class, test center crop from Fluent, and we'll give it a data L10 ID of what did I call it? Example label. Okay. Test center cropping from Fluent. Test center crop from Fluent. Okay, and then I'm also gonna add a second one, example label 1, example label 2 equals, this is a different very, 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 very long string to put inside of a label from Fluent. You know what I'll do is I will uncropped updated long text. Uncropped. Should be uncropped text. Should have crop center relation set. Should have updated that. Uncropped text. But we actually want to test that it was cropped. Here's what we'll do. Const uncropped fluent label 1 equals this. Const uncropped fluent label 2 equals this. We will interpolate these in. Then down here, the value should be uncropped. And then we will, and we should have added this here as well. We need to actually see that there's a, an ellipsis, like that it is center cropped. So what we can do, I think, let's try something here. Let's go to about robots. Let I equal document create element label. Let's call it L. Sorry, L. L dot set attribute enable center crop to that, and we'll also L dot text content equals this is a very long string, and then L dot style equals max width 10 characters, and then document body append to child L. Why isn't that working? Max width. Oh, because I need to say that this is Moz label. Grr. Okay, so let's remove that from the DOM. I say it is a Moz label. Do I actually have to bring it in? I might actually have to bring in Moz label. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, import this. Okay, so now we have the Moz label, and now let's create our label. Let us set the text content, let us set the style, let us also set attribute is to Moz label, as append it to the body, and now let us set, I forgot, enable center crop, and that still doesn't work. Why not? Do I have to document let s equals document create element script s dot source equals this, s dot type equals module document body append child s. Okay, do you have Moz label now? Okay, now do I have to, what do I have to do? Do I have to remove and re-add you? Remove body append child L. What is going on? Why aren't you knowing about Moz label? Did I run into this last time? Extends label. Is there a... Here. In here, let us note whenever we have the attribute is changed, and then let's see what happens if I remove center crop. Yeah, it doesn't, it's not happening. Maybe about robots isn't the right place to do this. Where have we also brought in Moz label, Firefox view. Okay, so let's open up Firefox view. Okay. It is a Moz label. It has a max width. Let's also set attribute enable center crop to that, and document body append child L. It's right at the bottom. Why isn't this working? Use Moz label. L.remove. Don't hit the debugger. Is there anything in here that's using a Moz label? Document query selector all is Moz label. Not a valid selector. How do you... For no, this is under rendering for history. Under sort option, history sort option input, whenever we render, what is this? History in view, sort options. Are these labels? That is a label. So if I put a breakpoint there, okay, that is a label. Okay. So these are Moz labels. And then if I say you text content, suppose this is a very, 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 very long string. And then I say set attribute center crop, and then set style max width equals 10 characters. Doesn't really do anything. This is not working anymore. I'll notice that value has been set properly and crop has been set. It's the underlying platform that's not actually doing the center cropping. So I think we may have broken something here. Shoot. Child nodes. Value. Child nodes. Text content. We would expect that to contain an ellipsis. Yeah. So something's gone wrong in here. If not, Chrome rules enabled. What happens if I get rid of this rule? Can I make this work then? Is that the part? What is this? Okay. Now, if I remove this from the DOM and re-add it to the DOM, what happens? Or how about I center and I put it back? Center. No, it doesn't work. Why not? This was working. Max width, no wrap, 5 characters. It's not doing it. Why isn't it doing it now? Well, let's see here. Let us do what we did last time. Four, 6, 9, 3, 5. 4, 6, 9, 3, 5. That looks like errors to me, says SmurfD. Where do you see errors? Oh, up here? Yeah, I don't know what this was all about. This is like... I don't know what that was. Okay, so we are attached, and now I'm going to set a breakpoint here. And now what happens if I like disable center crop or set to that? Let's get rid of it. Disable center crop, now re-enable. Okay. Okay, I'm going to break disable 1.1. I'm going to continue. And then I'm going to break enable 1.1. And then continue. And I'm going to re-add. Oh. disable 1.1. I don't think that's where I want my breakpoint. Maybe I want it at 4065. Or how about 4059? Break on NSCSS frame constructor .cpp line 4059. Okay. I'm gonna say enable center crop. That does nothing. Crop equals center. What's going wrong here? All right, well, let's add some logging. Is an HTML element label true, false. Label element does not have value. Does not have crop equals center. Element has center cropping. Okay. Detach. Okay. This is very annoying because this was working. Missing a semicolon. Classic. A classic C++ bug. A classic C++ compilation error. Doesn't know what I mean. What do you mean? We're getting a little rat holed here. I did not expect this to okay. Let's try that again. Okay, well, all of that is superfluous. And now let's put some center cropping on this guy right here. This label, we're going to say you are enable center crop. need to like change this. No. It doesn't even get evaluated. What if I remove it from the DOM? We're going to re-add it to the DOM. Now it has center cropping. Here's my worry. Max width, 50 characters. Okay. So it's that same bug as before where we're not being refreshed over here. To ensure that we recompute, we do a reflow. Label element might be returning a hint. Label element is in a Chrome document. The changed attributes was either crop or value. So maybe we have our ordering wrong here. So we set it to value, set crop to center. That should be enough. It should be enough. I don't like this. I don't know what this is, but I don't like it. Okay. Come on, 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 come on. Okay. So now I'm going to change this one to say enable center crop equals that. And we did see might be returning hint label is not in a Chrome document, might be returning hint label is in a Chrome document. Change attribute was either crop or value. Reflow. This is a long string. Oh, sorry, hang on. This is a very long string, don't you know? So we say now you should reflow. And then I put a max width of 10 characters on it. And then I'll do it again. But it's not doing the center cropping. Why aren't you doing the center cropping? But if I remove you from the DOM, okay, let L equals that, whatever we've selected. This is, okay, here's what This is all because I want to know something specific. L.remove document body append child L. And now we get our center cropping. Great. Now, how can I detect the center cropping in a test? Because we're forwarding text content, and that's proper. But if I do child nodes 0, text content, it says sort by date. That can't be right. That looks completely wrong. Center crop block, middle crop, what is it called? Label frame. Update displayed value to uncropped value. Middle cropping label frame. Middle crop block frame. Update displayed value will set the text to be anonymous text node change. We can't notify during inflow. Teletext or the text con we just did. Mark dirty. Crop text to width. Do this algorithm. Crop text to width is getting out the text. And then what do you do? Reflow, while true, reflow, cropped break. Text is mtext node. Mtext node is a DOM text. And you set text on it, bind to tree, and we set text. If we notify lines in. So how do I get this value? What in the world is happening here? It says sort by date, but that's definitely wrong. Because I can see here that it's this I ... no. Here, let's get rid of the... Can we get rid of the child nodes? Yes. And now what is your child node? And now what if I take you out of the DOM again and re-add you? What is your... It says sort by date again. Oh, is that because of the data L10N ID? Let me get rid of the data L10N ID. Let's get rid of the sort by date. Or let's remove append child. Okay, L.text content. Child nodes is the empty string. How do you get the cropped string? What if instead of forwarding text content, is super text content? Yeah. What is super text content? I say this dot center crop enabled is false. So then we fall through. What is the value? The empty string. Super text content is the empty string? That seems so bizarre. How do we test this in Zool land? Text crop. Function text include here return value. Text crop. We do a reference test. Text crop reference. We do an actual comparison of those. Oh, text crop, layout ref tests. Ah! I don't like this at all. We had something that was working. We had something that was working. Now, why doesn't it work anymore? Is the ordering... We're not even talking web is hard. We are off the web. Like, this is deep engine stuff. Center cropping and Zool labels, this is like ancient, almost Netscape era stuff. If we didn't have a value, we'll set the attribute of our value to text content. We'll set crop center, and we'll say center crop enabled is true. I'm gonna say setting value and crop now. And I would expect to hit this then immediately after. We had something, gang. We had something that worked, and now it's kind of busted. I need to figure out why. More prints. Well, here's the other thing I could do. I could make a debug build and start trying to step through this more. Here's what I'm worried about. What I ideally wanted, what I was hoping to get to, was to the point where I could write an automated test to sample what the cropped value, the center crop value is. It looks like we never had anything like that. Crop. Crop end. Fragment preprocessor. We were doing like visual reference tests. Get rid of that. Say sort by site and include a very long label here in the label. And I'm going to say enable center crop. Okay, label on my return hit. Label is in a crop dot. The change attribute is either crop or value. So we should have said now do a reflow. Now if the max width is 10 characters, I do text content equals text content plus 1, 2, 3. Crop is center. Delete node. Why? What is the difference? Are we hitting this? Let me see if we're hitting this. This is a good idea. Services app info process ID 57635. Attach 57635. Are we, for example, hitting this when we update one of those things? No. Are we... Is it a problem because it started with a Fluent attribute? If I clone this, then it works because I added it to the DOM. Let's do a couple more tests. Let's gain more information. This is a very, 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 very long string. Enable center crop, and then we'll say style max width 5 characters, 10 characters. Build faster. What could we be missing? So Fluent is new. We didn't test this with Fluent last time. So I wonder if that's part of the issue. I may end up needing to talk to some of our layout specialists and text specialists about this. See, well, that doesn't make any sense either. Style doesn't have the right max width. Okay, so that's working. That's working. Style. Is it the Fluent that's messing it with it then? And then let's like remove enable center crop. Okay. And that means if I remove the value, it needs to like revert back. I need to like revert back. Let's do this again. Let's remove enable center crop. We remove crop. And then that should have caused it to reflow. Enable center crop. And then remove center crop. I'm looking at the log here. Crop or value. We're in a Chrome document. And that means that we should have said style hint reflow. What were we doing before that was working? Let's look at the full difference of what we've done, of what we have wrought, and evaluate it. Makes sense. We can probably put this back now. And this is just test stuff and some documentation. And this are guards on the state. Thinking. So it's almost like that same problem we were having a few weeks back, where we had solved it with this by noticing that the element needed a reflow, and we changed that so that it only works if we're in a Chrome rules enabled. Owner doc. And we say you need a reflow. What's happening here? It's working. I would expect this to turn it off, to restore it. I get rid of it. But somehow, because there's a value on it still, if I get rid of value, then for some reason this stays. There's no value attribute, return null pointer for the frame construction data. So I would expect there to be why are you using the string in here? You doing it? Why are you like this? And now it's like completely unresponsive to setting the text content. If I set prop to start, then it starts, I can start getting content showing up in here. And start, end. How about remove attribute, crop. Value is test. And then that's when it starts rendering. It's expecting value to be set because it's still using the middle cropping label frame. Even though it shouldn't, we should be getting to here. I don't know, gang. I'm a little stumped. Are you in a Chrome enabled window? Yes, I am. Firefox View is a Chrome document. You can tell because document URI is an about page when that was included in the list. I think I might have to call for help, which is a pain. But sometimes you have to know when to fold them. Sometimes you have to know when to call for help. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to post what I've got. Let's get rid of some of our logging. Let's see. Oh, all of that looks okay. I think there's a dump in there. Okay, yeah. We'll get rid of the dump in Moz label. And then we will go ahead and squash that in. What could it be? just don't know. Okay. And then I will post this. Let me change the description. Describe OMMP. Provide a mechanism for using center cropping on HTML labels and syntactic sugar to use it with Moz label. Lint outgoing fix. Okay, and then I'm gonna start reaching out to people, I guess, on the layout team. Sorry, gang, I was expecting to get a lot more progress here, but you are now experiencing real, I guess, software development whenever something doesn't make sense. We change a little thing, we're missing information. We are missing some information about how the ecosystem of the software works. And one way to figure that out, there are a couple of different strategies. One is if I could write like a minimal test case, I could probably walk through it with a debugger and figure it out. But writing a minimal test case, that's interesting, is difficult because it doesn't seem like we've done a great job of making it so that tests can inspect the cropped value. What are you talking about? Not define mock LTN. Let's see how this is done elsewhere. Var mock LTN, okay. Not defined fluent label 2. Uncropped fluent. Uncropped. Oh, that's why. Uncropped. Uncropped fluent label 2. Try it one more time. We'll get it up for review and I'll start talking to people about it. Hey, I think I'm going to cap it there. Thanks so much for watching episode 445 of The Joy of Coding. Let me know what you thought. There's a link in the agenda here to rate the episode. Let me just drop that link into the chat. Link to rate this episode. I read everything that comes in. If you've got questions or thoughts or what you want to see more of, maybe this entire problem you... Look at that. Maybe this entire problem you find uninteresting and you'd like me to move on or do something different. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And I'll do my best to adjust the stream. Or if there's something else you want to cover, or if you have a question, I might not have the answers, but you can feel free to ask a question about Firefox or the source code or open source or Mozilla or anything, web browsers, text, Zool, and I'll do my best to try and answer if I have the answers. I don't always have the answers though. So you can send those in with the form as well. And with that, I will call it. Thank you so much for watching episode 445. I hope to see you next week for episode 446. Have yourselves a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
What the joy of coding.
See ya.